Well, tell us about your background first, and then you can tell us about the story.
Anyway, I practice as a physician at Kaiser Permanente at the moment, and I've been here for 22 years. And one of the reasons I came out here was to buy an apartment that had a view of the Queen Mary.
Good idea.
After all, I did sail on the Queen Mary when I was 4 years old, but don't remember it very well. So anyway, I tell people that this is the biggest piece in my collection, but I don't have room in my apartment, so I put her across the river, you know.
Yeah.
And, but it's pretty cool. But anyway, with this special occasion visit about the SS United States, I am proud to tell you that I sailed on the ship in December of 1964 for a 9-day Christmas cruise out of New York.
Wow.
To the Caribbean. Curacao, Martinique, and St. Thomas. And the ship was, to a 12-year-old kid, just totally awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really fell in love with it. I mean, not just the beauty of the ship, but the pride in her that her crew members had.
Yes.
Especially our waiter and deckhands, on people working on deck. And they all told me how proud they were to work on America's flagship.
Yeah. And have you been back to do you visit the SS United States?
I have my first visit to the ship was in 1980 when I went to see her in Norfolk, but I wasn't able to get close to her. I just thought I took one picture and it just showed the bow. Right. But a couple of years later, in 1983, in Norfolk, I was able to actually go on board because I knew the maritime attorney for Mr. Hadley, who owned the ship at that point. He was going to convert it into a cruise ship.
Right.
And so I knew the attorney, Mr. Bill Meyer, and invited me to go down and actually go on board. And unfortunately, the weather was really pretty poor, but I had a chance to see a lot of the ship. It was very dark, I remember, because most of the lights were out. We went through a small door on B deck, but we got to explore the dining room, most of the public rooms, and also my cabin, which is S39.
Oh my God!
And I remembered my cabin. It was so neat to see it again. And in fact, the key to that cabin was in the top drawer, so I just quietly lifted it out and put it in my pocket. And I still have it, and it's sort of like a rabbit's foot for me. I had it in my pocket when I took my board exam in nuclear medicine.
You still have it, right?
And I still have it. And not only that, I also have the actual number, S39, over my bedroom. So you'll see that if you come visit.
So, the SS United States, a lot of refurbishment is needed, correct, right now? A lot of refurbishment?
There's basically, there's nothing left of the interior decor.
Thank you. And even with sharing that it's been
totally stripped of her fittings. The only thing that's recognizable is the staircase foyers and outlines of where walls used to be, like in the midship observation lounge. And also, from what I understand, the machinery is intact.
Yes.
Unlike the Queen Mary, all of her machinery is still there. Yeah.
You know what I see that's very interesting is that, which is fine, we have a lot of people wanting to go into space. We have all these billionaires that want to go to space and go to the moon and dive down to ships and do all this stuff, but yet it's like nobody wants to restore history. What is your thoughts on what type of person is it going to take to say, let's restore this, let's bring her back? I mean,
I remember an article I read about the SS France, which was taken out of service in 1974, and they were announcing that she was going to be withdrawn.
Yeah.
And the article said, well, if they can spend millions of dollars on the bedroom of King Louis XIV in Versailles, why can't they save the France?
Yeah.
And so that I agree. I mean,
it just really seems to be difficult.
The real question is, her profile is still there.
Yeah.
But any interior work would have to be brand new.
Yeah.
And I don't think people would like to, the kind of decor that the ship had back in 1952 would be kind of drab by today's standards. It was modernist and
Right.
represented the period. Some of the rooms are very, very tasteful.
Yeah.
But compared to most other ships of the period, it was kind of plain.
Right. Yeah. I would agree.
Rather almost utilitarian.
You're starting from scratch.
Yeah.
Right, Stephen?
So
Yeah.
they would have to do.
Yeah.
I think that as long as they give the essence of what the ship represented from that time period, which would be very, very easy to do today.
Yeah. Now the ship, of course, has shear and camber,
Yes.
which are more difficult to build and more expensive.
Yes.
It's not like today's new cruise ships, which are flat.
Right.
So that would any kind of interior restoration would require taking that into account.
Yes. With a little experience on how to deal with that too.
Real quick, before you go, how does it feel to be back on the Queen Mary?
I love it. It's I've been on there a couple of times since they reopened, and I'm very pleased with the work that they've done so far.
There you go. All right.
We had I'm trying to think of his name. Take us on a tour this morning.
Oh, that's great. Have you ever stayed overnight?
Long time ago. Long time ago.
All right. Oh, it's nice.
Yeah.
Nice meeting you. It's great. Awesome. Thank you for sharing.
Nelson, thank you very much.